Hi, I am the voice of BISBO Kannada, and you can watch this same video in your languages on our other BISBO channel.
In the pristine forests around Keradi village in coastal Karnataka, where the most thrilling and visually stunning scenes of the demigod Panjurli were shot in the hit movie Kantara. It was at a location especially selected by actor-director Rishab Shetty, who actually video called Arvind Kashyap, his DOP, director of photography, at midnight.
You see this lighting? This is what I want.
Looks perfect, Rishab. That was the level of hands-on approach and passion Shetty had.
I wanted the Kantara world, the moonlight, to look a little fictional and mysterious.
The movie is particularly close to Rishab because as a child growing up in Keradi village, he remembers watching the annual Bhuta Kola, the spirit worship festival, in which it is believed that the artist performing the ritual temporarily becomes the god himself and solves people's problems. In the film, Rishab builds up this transformation of Shiva through recurring nightmares of a wild boar that symbolizes the deity of Panjurli. To respect this custom and as a mark of his own devotion, Rishab quit having non-veg food a month before shooting the Bhuta Kola dance sequences. And after putting on the costume, he would consume nothing but coconut water till the shot was complete, however many takes it took. Shetty's quest to be realistic was so strong that the scene showing him getting high was shot with a handheld gimbal to give the audience the same high. Even the background score was not computer generated, but a concoction of Western and native instruments of Dakshina Kannada folk like the Koragga Dolu, Tase, Dammaru, Gaggara, etc. Instruments with which he was familiar, as during his early teens, Rishab had performed Yakshagna, traditional theatre in Dakshina Kannada, in full makeup and costume. The final sequence where he is possessed by Guliga, the demigod's guardian, and beats up the landlord and his muscled henchmen happened impromptu, as if guided by a spirit. None of it was in the script. I just performed and everyone on set got goosebumps. I feel blessed that the energy protected me. But to prepare for the role, Shetty spent 6 grueling months practicing martial arts, bull racing, and dancing with a 50-kilogram costume. In a sequence where goons hit him with fire sticks, his skin got scratched and burnt and developed blisters everywhere. Yet such was his devotion to authenticity that he did not use VFX or a body double. In another action scene, Rishab's shoulder got dislocated. Cut! But he just put on some pain relief gel and kept shooting the fight scene. So immersed was he in the transformation from a vagabond to a rebel that the actor was consumed by his character Shiva's angry young man persona. Though his anger would have melted after the movie, made on a modest budget of 16 crore, it earned over 400 crore, 25 times its investment. None other than the god of Indian cinema Rajnikant met and praised him.
This movie was a spiritual journey for me.
You showed so well how the unknown is more than the known. This flavor of local rituals and religion seems to be the ingredient most enjoyed by the pan-India audience.
The more rooted a story is, the more unique it would be and have a universal appeal.
People could connect with it as many local deities exist from north to south, Himalayas to Kerala and east to west, Goa to Bengal, where communities come together and celebrate nature and God. With barely any marketing budget, it was word of mouth that helped Kantara become among the top 5 Google films of 2022. Even though it does not totally match up to the action and special effects of KGF or the high-budget cinematography and star cast of RRR. As far as screenplay goes, the movie is 2 hours of just build-up for an enthralling action-packed last half hour. Other than Shiva's character, no one else undergoes any transformation, not even Leela, despite being the first educated woman from the village to become a forest guard official. Her role is just limited to playing Shiva's romantic interest, with no presence of her own. The other 2 main characters are also robotic, with no shades of grey, like the forest cop who is out to get Shiva for most of the movie, then suddenly changes into his supporter, while the landlord is opposite, going from well-wisher to villain. Considering they spent 8 long months on the script, surely they could have fleshed out those characters better. However, all of this didn't matter in the Hindi heartland, where Kantara's dubbed Hindi version earned over 70 crore, beating KGF's one Hindi dub success of 44 crore. Masses were smitten by the Varaha Rupam song that equates the demigod Panjurli as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Even the controversy around Bhuta Kola couldn't dampen people's spirits.
It's Adivasi culture, not Hindu. Bhuta Kola is the worship of ancestors.
A practice common across the world, but particularly in coastal Karnataka, where an estimated 1,000 local deities exist since time immemorial, out of which more than 20 are surprisingly Muslim deities, prominent being Babaraya and Ali Bhuta. However, the central issue of the movie is land and forest conservation, which brings together villagers and officials to fight the vested interests of the local landlord. From the Punjab farmer protest to save their agricultural land from multinationals, to the women in Chhattisgarh's Hasadeo Anaya tree-hugging movement to save them from being cut down for mining projects, to Odisha's Dongriya Kond communities movement to protect the Niyamgiri hills from Vedanta's bauxite mine. Such stories abound across the nation. While the movie is set in the 1990s, the Forest Rights Act of 2006 now guarantees the rights of Adivasis to live undisturbed in forest areas, gather produce, hunt and farm. Though some ills are shown in the movie, like the practice of giving liquor and loans to trap illiterate people for their land, is rife in many parts of India today as well. Then there are heart-wrenching scenes of discrimination, like the landlord after touching the hero washes his hands. No villager is allowed to enter the landlord's mansion, and if someone dares to try, goon servants beat him up. After Shiva gets to know the landlord's reality and goes inside the forbidden territory of his home,
कलयुग है साहेब, अब अंदर आ सकते हैं हम.
it is probably the most powerful scene of the film, where he eats with the landlord on his dinner table inside his house.
शुद्ध हो गया हूँ, टाइम हमारा है अब.
The underdogs fight back and win needs no language and tugged at the heartstrings of masses across regions and communities. The last few years seem to be the comeback period for Kannada cinema. KGF 2 of course earned over 1,000 crore. Vikrant Rona, Kicha Sudeep's action thriller did well. Dolu on the traditional art form of Dolu Kunitha, Gandhada Guddi, also on Karnataka's rich and diverse physical heritage, 777 Charlie, a unique heartwarming story about the bond between a man and his dog, and Guru Shishyaru, a sports drama on the obscure game of Kho-Kho. This year, Bahubali fame Prabhas's Salar will be the big thing in both Kannada and Telugu, targeted to release in 3 out of 4 available screens. By Humbale Films, the production house behind KGF and Kantara, who will spread their tentacles into all South Indian languages by investing 3,000 crore over the next 5 years. It will be interesting to see whether Salar can beat Shah Rukh's Pathan, whose global earnings are set to cross the 1,000 crore mark within the first month. For Kannada cinema though, their golden age has returned after 3 decades, when artists like Dr. Rajkumar, Ravi Chandran and Shankar Naj were prolific in the late 1980s and early 90s. Egged on by the 3 Shetty musketeers, Rishab, Raj and Rakshit, the RRR who changed Kannada cinema's landscape in the last few years. They are brothers from another mother. Rishab grew up in his village Keradi, then struggled as an assistant director before becoming an actor. Rakshit in Udupi and used to work as an IT engineer in Bengaluru. And Raj in Mangaluru and studied social work before starting to write his own scripts. While Rishab and Rakshit's first film together as actors, Tughlaq in 2012 failed, it cemented their friendship. But the duo scaled new heights in the next few years, with 2014's Uli Davaru Kandante showcasing Mangaluru region, often neglected in Kannada cinema. 2016's Crick Party achieved commercial success of a 250-day run in over 15 theatres, and 777 Charlie in 2022 also entered the 100 crore club despite an unusual storyline. Rishab won the National Award for Best Children's Film for Sarkari Hiriya Prathamika Shale in 2018. And all 3 came together for the crime drama Garuda Gamana of Rishabha Vahana in 2021, which got 8 crore minutes of viewing within 3 days of its release on ZEE5. And Raj also helped Rishab choreograph the direction of Kantara's climax Bhuta Kola scenes. While Kantara was a mixture of religion, land and social inequality set in the 1990s, Kantara 2 is reportedly going to be a prequel on the background story of tensions between the villagers, the deity and the troubled king. Will it have the same charm? What do you think? BISBO's Limerick. Rishab Shetty as Shiva kept having dreams. It was the demigod Panjurli he heard as a scream. The villagers' pride, their customs denied. Saving the forest is the underlying theme. You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.